If I waited that long for the world to notice my work, what would have been the point? So a friend of mine the other day, someone I admire and love and respect a whole lot, posted something on her Facebook page about the artist Carmen Herrera, who honestly I've never heard of, but has some intriguing minimalist abstract work. She finally got her first gallery show at 101 years old. That's great that Carmen got her first gallery show, but I was thinking to myself after I read that, if I waited that long for the world to notice my work, what would have been the point? Now I realize that Miss Herrera at 101 years old did not grow up with the internet. She did not grow up in this new e-commerce generation that we have. So I can't necessarily expect someone like her to automatically jump on in and figure out how to start entrepreneurializing her artwork. But it's that mentality of finally able to get her work seen at 101 years old that really bothers me, because there's no excuse that any artist out there today should be waiting for a gallery to make them famous or to give them the shot that they need. If you're waiting for a gallery to feature your work so that maybe that's the thing that sends you over the top, you got another thing coming. Because unless your gallery just happens to be one of the big majors in New York, maybe LA, maybe Paris, wherever, London, unless you're in one of those galleries, you're probably not going to be very big on that alone. In fact, some of those galleries have artists who are still not doing very well, even though they are in some of the most prominent art galleries in the world. Like everything else, there's an 80-20 rule. And in galleries, it's the same. 20% of the artists make up 80% of the business, and the other 80% of artists, well, they languish somewhere in the middle or at the bottom. And so if you're waiting for that gallery to give you your next shot, then you have missed an opportunity of a lifetime. You see, let's get real for a second about art galleries. If anything, for the majority of us, art galleries are nothing but an ego stroke. They're there to kind of solidify the idea that we're an actual artist, because it comes from this traditional background that galleries or museums or art dealers are the only way to get your work seen. And obviously that is not the case any longer, but it still has this feeling that that is the way that we become a true artist. That is how we get validated. That is how our work becomes important, is to be in those places. And if you're not in those places, then you're not a serious artist, or you're not qualified to hang with the likes of the big boys in New York or London or LA. And now, of course, I think that's all complete crap. I could care less whether a gallery wants me or not. Now, if a gallery turned right around today and said, Dave, we want to feature your art in our work, in our place, then yeah, go for it. By all means, have at it. But with concessions. I do not want to be restricted by some gallery. I do not want them to tell me how and when and where I can sell my work. Look, you want to put my stuff up on your walls, and then you want people to buy it from you at a 50% or whatever it is commission, so be it. I'm more than happy to do that. I absolutely would. But I'm still going to sell my work where I want to sell my work. And I'm still going to make my money where I can make my money. I am not ever going to let the traditional art world dictate to me how to run my artistic business. The way I look at art galleries, at least in the scope of what I'm doing here, is that would just be one more node in my whole marketing approach. Just like the stuff I do on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, all of these things are nodes. If I go do shows, or if I go in a gallery, or if I happen to sell my work to collectors by myself through my website or through my email newsletter, all of those are nodes. The gallery is just another node. If I get a gallery, it's just a function. It's one thing, because I will not ever put all of my effort to earning within the hands of somebody like a gallerist. I would not put all my effort into earning into just my website, or just Etsy, or just my marketing efforts on Instagram or Snapchat or wherever. I'm gonna spread myself out to see if I can get the most reach and the most access to the most people as often as I possibly can. And I'm never going to let somebody else dictate to me how and when I can sell my art. Now I realize that I have a little bit of an unfair advantage right here, because I am not scared by this. Obviously, I've been doing it a while and it doesn't hurt me. I love it. I enjoy it. But I understand that there are a lot of artists who don't want to have anything to do with videos on YouTube, or sharing their story on a podcast, or writing newsletters. They want to have anything to do with that. And so there are people that are going to need the dealers and the galleries and maybe the museums to help them further their career and bring themselves up to the level that they want to be. For everybody else, if you're letting those people dictate your business, then you might as well quit. Fewer and fewer and fewer artists are making that happen. Fewer artists are getting into those ranks, and there are more and more artists out there every single day. The media has allowed us to everyone to be an artist, to everyone to be a videographer, to everyone to be a podcaster, to everyone be able to write their story. If we are trying to fight for our space in all of that, and yet we're limiting ourselves to just the opportunities that galleries and museums and collectors and dealers give us, then we've lost. We've lost. That's the way I see it. Some people might disagree, and I am totally open to the other side of the equation. I would love to hear the other side tell me why it is that they feel that is the way to go. In my mind, that is strictly an ego-driven pursuit. You want to get your stuff up on the fancy walls so that you can say that your stuff was up on the fancy walls. And I don't really care. If it happens, awesome. If Tate Modern turns around and says, Dave, we want to feature your work, I'm all in. Not that that's ever going to happen, but if it did, I would not turn them down. However, my rules, not theirs. So it's getting a little warm and muggy in here, and I've got a few more pieces to just kind of put the final touches on, so I'm going to get to that and then go into the air-conditioned room next door. Folks, thank you very much for checking in. I really appreciate you. Make sure to check me out at daveconrey.com or daveconrey.etsy.com if you want to buy my stuff there. We're going to talk about next time about brand and personal brand and how we work all this in together with the art. It's going to be a fun conversation. I can't wait to talk to you about that next time, so stay tuned for that. But until then, remember, like this video if you liked it, subscribe to these videos if you like them all, and share them with your peeps. Okay? Thank you very much. Love you guys. We'll see you next time.